Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Matt Lateplo, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Chakana Copper Corp. Please note you can submit questions in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I am very pleased to welcome David Kelly, CEO, President, and Director of Chakana Copper Corp, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol CHKKF and on the TSXV under the symbol PERU. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's exciting for me to tell this story because we're at what I think is the most exciting exploration stage since the discovery we made in Peru. We have a high-grade copper, gold, silver discovery that culminated with an initial resource that was published in 2022. There's still a long way to go on this discovery. We have a lot more drilling to do and exploration. We have an existing resource, but exceptional upside potential, and I'm happy to be here today to tell you about that. Obviously, I'll be talking about forward-looking statements in this presentation, so please take note. The summary of our company at this point in our corporate life is the fact that we've got a high-grade resource starting at surface, open at depth, in an active mining district in Peru. It's copper, gold, and silver. It works out to be 191,000 ounces of gold, 11.7 million ounces of silver, and 130 million pounds of copper. It's high grade. It's relatively small at this point, but it's open at depth, and we have an additional 54 breccia targets that are already defined and ready to be drilled. You can see what the nature of the mineralization looks like in that drill core on the right. Just absolutely stunning, exceptional high-grade mineralization. Now, in addition to that, we've expanded our property to include the entire mineral system. So far, we've explored the tourmaline breccia pipes, represented by the core that you see on the right. But these tourmaline breccia pipes are related to an intrusive center, and that intrusive center exists in the central part of the project. We just received a permit to allow us to start exploring in that part of the project, and therein lies this exceptional Tier 1 exploration potential on the project. It's one of the reasons that Gold Fields, our largest shareholder at 18.4% equity position in the company, has invested over $12 million starting in 2019. So I'll take you through the story. I'll talk to you about the existing high-grade resource that we have that will get bigger with time, and I'll talk to you about this exceptional exploration upside potential. Before I jump into that, though, since this is a battery metals conference, let's talk about copper. Copper has an exceptional future ahead of it. We already know that there's a supply gap, pending, looming supply gap that was there even before all the clean energy transition technologies came along. The graph on the right shows you that gap. It's going to start happening in 2025 to a significant degree. And it's a result of underinvestment in the exploration industry over the last 2 decades. Okay, it's not something that can be fixed quickly. It's something that is going to play out regardless of what we do. Exploration simply can't keep up with the demand that's going to happen. It has to do with the disruptions to the copper supply. There's no better example than the most recent example that we've seen in Panama. Labor disputes, declining grades in old mines in Chile, and the lack of world-class discoveries to replenish the supply of copper that's going to be needed. So there's a train wreck that's about to happen. It's going to be between growing economies, which depend on copper, and the clean energy revolution, the transition to clean energy. And copper is one of the best metals that to invest in my view, for the aspect of clean energy. One of the reasons for that is if you look at this chart that I'm showing now, it shows the metals that are important in the different energy technologies. And you can see that copper is featured in every single one of these industries. It's exceptional in its ability to be a fundamental part of the technology from the ground up. So if you want to invest in clean energy and you want something that's broad and covers all the different industries, copper is the metal to invest in. Chakana Copper started as a private company, and at the end of 2016, we were private for the first year. We went public in January of 2018. We were fortunate to attract, with our discovery and the high grade results that we were getting right off the bat in 2017, we attracted the likes of Goldfields. We also have some what I think is a stellar list of shareholders in the company with Sprott Asset Management, Cisco. Rick Rule has invested now. This is the third time that Rick Rule has invested in the company. So I think it shows the quality of the asset that we have and also the quality of the team that we have. The chairman of our company is Doug Silver. Doug, John Black, and I are three geologists. We all live in the Denver area. We've known each other for a long time. We're all three geologists with different track records. Doug, of course, is the founder of International Royalty Corporation that he sold after running that very successfully for a number of years. He then went on to Orion and created the largest mining investment fund in the world at the time that he was running that. And Doug is one of three people that's ever been inducted both into the U.S. Mining Hall of Fame and the Canadian Hall of Fame. John Black's track record is exceptional as well. I worked with John back at Western Mining Days, and he's been very successful in the junior industry with Antares, and he's doing it again with Regulus and Aldebaran, two other great copper stories if you're interested in investing in copper. Myself, I spent 22 years with the majors, the likes of BHP, WMC, Newmont, and MMG. So I think the message here about our team is that we're here to make a difference. We're here to make a discovery and to monetize that discovery for our shareholders. ESG is a very, very important part of our program. It's some of the, I'm very proud of our technical achievements, but I'm also very, very proud of our achievements with ESG because it affects the local communities that we work within. We need those communities for our project to be successful, and they benefit from our presence, and that's how it should be. Our project is located in Peru. Peru is, in my opinion, is one of the most attractive jurisdictions globally. The geology in Peru is absolutely spectacular. It has one of the highest mineral densities on the planet in terms of mineral endowment and for a variety of different commodities. We're within the Miocene mineral belt that extends along the entire western margin of South America. It's a very, very well endowed mineral belt. We're just south of the PERU mine, a world-class gold mine that was mined by Barrick 30 kilometers to the north of us. We're 60 kilometers west of Antamina, the largest mine in Peru. So not only are we in a great country in terms of a mining jurisdiction, but we're also in one of the best provinces in the country from a mining standpoint. Mining has been there a long time. The infrastructure is outstanding, and the communities are accustomed to and supportive of mining. Now, Peru is not just a land of opportunity for world-class mineral discoveries. It's also the land of opportunity for aspiring politicians. And there's been a bit of a gong show. It's not something that's just recent. It's been going on for a long time. There's been a revolving door in the political scene in Peru. and it's distracting. It's unfortunate. But if you stand back and look at what effect or what impact has the revolving door in Peru had on the mining industry, it's very little. And there's no better way to look at that than to look at the production of copper over time as the presidents have come and gone. I mean, there are presidents that have been in office for 5 days. Okay, so lots of turnover in the cabinets, in the ministries, but yet there's been very little impact on copper production. In fact, the biggest impact was COVID. COVID was devastating on Peru. It's recovered. It took 2 years to recover. Production is up this year in 2023, and it's projected to be up again in 2024. So Peru is a mining country, in my view, and it always will be. Our project is located in the Ayotzinapa district. It's about 150 square kilometer footprint. It's predominantly a lead, zinc, silver producing district, but our project and our mineralization is focused on copper gold mineralization, which we believe indicates the heat center and the driving intrusive center that's causing the zoning that we see in the entire district. We started off by exploring these tourmaline breccia pipes. They're phenomenal features. Many of them stick out of the ground and they're very obvious. You can see one of our large breccia pipes that's in the resource there in the photo on the left. You can see a drill rig on top of that breccia pipe for scale. They're absolutely impressive features. They're high grade. They're copper, gold, and silver starting at surface. And we have drill intercepts at 700-800 meters. These breccia pipes are still going. They're vertical. They're very young features geologically. They're about 15 million years old. They're the exact same age as the mineral system at PERU. We're part of a regional mineral belt that has exceptional porphyry and high sulfidation epithermal mineralization within this belt. And we believe we're on to the very next big discovery. In terms of drilling, in my career, the best intercept I've ever had in my career have come from this project. I mean, things like 12 meters of 35% copper equivalent. That's better than the discovery hole in Neves Corvo, one of the greatest VMS copper-rich massive sulfide deposits in the world. And this is inside of a breccia pipe. 439 meters of 2% copper equivalent from surface. I mean, these are stunning intercept. These breccia pipes are very, very important deposits, and we think that someday they're going to make great mines. This is the resource estimate. I quoted the numbers earlier. We have both open pit and underground resources. It's important to note that while the overall tonnage is low at this point, the resource is open at depth. It only includes 7 breccia pipes. We believe there are between 50 and 100 breccia pipes in this mineral system. And in addition to that, we see high grade in each one of these breccia pipes. Half of the tonnage that we have has an overall copper equivalent grade of 2.75%. And we expect that ratio generally will continue as we continue to add resources to the breccia side of the story. This is what the breccia pipes look like in a 3-dimensional model. This is a leapfrog model. You can see again, they're very young geologic features. They're pristine, upright breccia pipes sitting on top of the causative intrusion at depth. We have not found the causative intrusions beneath these breccia pipes, but we think we have found an intrusion that's part of that same intrusive event in the central part of the project, which is part of the exploration upside that I'll talk about next. In plan view and in cross-section view, the block models for these for the resource model on the breccia pipe shows the distribution of copper, gold, and silver. We get exceptional precious metal grades on the top parts of the breccia pipes. This has to do with telescoping and zoning within the breccia pipes. At the top, we get dominantly gold-rich mineralization with silver, and as we go deeper, we tend to get more pure copper silver mineralization with gold drops off, generally to about 0.2 or 0.3 grams per ton. In plan view, you can see the mineralization, again, really exceptional in terms of the overall value of the mineralization. The purple blocks there show NSR values greater than $360 per ton. People ask us all the time, how would you mine these breccia pipes? And in our view, and also in the view of Goldfields and other mining engineers that we've had work on the project, it wouldn't be too dissimilar to the kimberlite pipes that are mined. You have multiple pipes. The pipes are different sizes, different grades. The bigger pipes can support small starter pits on the top parts of the breccia pipes and then go underground. Beyond that, over time, you can interlink the underground infrastructure between the pipes for greater mining efficiencies. So this is a good template. It would certainly be for us, would be sub-level mining with long hole stoping. Now let's move on to the exploration. We've already done all the exploration on the project from north to south. Our permit initially has been on the north half of the project. That's one of the reasons we focus on the high-grade breccia pipes. In June of last year, we received the permit to start drilling on the south side of the project, and that's where our exploration is going to be focused. We just raised $3 million to fund the next exploration campaign that will be focused on the southern half of the project. This map shows all of the targets we've generated on the project since we started. And this is based on multidisciplinary exploration, multiple geophysical techniques, very detailed mapping, hyperspectral studies, everything we could throw at it, we've done to define these targets. All of this work was done in conjunction with Goldfields, who has an exceptional exploration team, one of the deepest talented exploration teams that I've worked with in my career, and I've worked with a lot of them. Now, one thing you'll notice on the north side of the project, lots of tourmaline breccia pipes that was known. On the south side, we uncovered what we call the mega gold target. It's a very, very impressive feature. I've got a few slides to show you how we initially became aware of it. There are three maps here. Let's just start with the geochemistry. This is soil geochemistry over 4,000 samples. On the north side, you get very distinct bullseyes of gold reflecting a nearby breccia pipe. But if you look on the south side, there's this enormous gold anomaly. It's about 2.5 square kilometers in size. That tells you something different is going on. When we showed that map to Goldfields in 2019, they immediately focused on that and wanted to know what that was. We didn't know at the time, but with all the work that we've done since then, we now have this, we think we have this figured out. It also it's associated with very strong molybdenum, especially in the eastern part of it, up to 54 parts per million molybdenum in soil. That's very high. That's even anomalous in a rock, more or less a soil sample. 325 parts per billion gold with 54 ppm molybdenum. And one of the things that geochemists like myself look for in porphyry targeting is the manganese halo. Manganese is an element that gets driven out, depleted in the high temperature zone and redeposited distally. And there's a beautiful example of a manganese halo sitting right on top of the porphyry target that we have right here. All the blue shows depleted manganese, and all the orange and red and magenta shows enriched manganese on the margin. So very, very impressive geochemical footprint. This map shows the close-up of the mega gold target area defined by gold in soil, but now we're showing the footprint of the IP chargeability target. There's two parts to it. There's a lobe in the upper right that sits right beneath the highest tenor soil anomalies in gold and molybdenum, and then another lobe that sits off to the southwest. And when we look again in 3 dimensions, it's a very, very impressive geophysical target. There's a vertical intrusion-like feature that sits here. This is where we think the porphyry is. Now, the intrusion might be a depth. This might be the upper level of the intrusion, but this is showing you the distribution of sulfides. It's a very strong chargeability, induced polarization response, and then it has a lateral component, more of a flat-lying, stratigraphically controlled feature. We believe this is a lithocap type of environment extending away from this intrusive environment. So two very distinct targets to go after. This is the way the geology looks in cross-section from north to south. Again, dominated by breccia pipes on the north, a porphyry target sitting here with extensive gold and geochemical anomalies sitting above it, a very distinct geophysical response. And then at a higher elevation and more distal, we get very distinct high sulfidation advanced argillic alteration. Okay, this is similar to the PERU style system. We think it's all related. It's the same mineral system, just showing the different zonation and different deposit styles that are related to an intrusive center. This is the first 3 holes we plan to drill in the project. This is a section on the megagold target. This is where the surface geochemical expression is the strongest, and the IP, that is a stunning IP section right there. It's showing a sulfide shell with a north side and a south side. It's occupied in the center by very resistive rock that has advanced argillic alteration associated with it. This is a very, very exciting target for us to drill. This is what the rock looks like in outcrop. We get very, very intense pervasive alteration. This is advanced argillic alteration with pyrophyllite, dickite, zunite, diaspore. We see sulfide veinlets with quartz, chalcopyrite, and pyrite. That's confirming that there's copper in this system. La Jolla, high sulfidation epithermal system, footprint of 700 meters north-south. That's just a little bit smaller than the footprint of the PERU ore body. That's just 30 kilometers to the north. So this too could turn into a tier 1 discovery in itself. More high-grade breccias, lots of them. We have surface outcropping, mineralized high-grade breccias that have not been drilled yet. This one has a particularly nice, large geophysical footprint. This is also going to be part of the next drill program. We haven't touched this area. This is the Compañero breccia complex, very tight cluster of high-grade breccias. We get 14 grams gold in channel samples on top of one of these breccias. Again, very, very impressive. So just to wrap up here, clear tier 1 discovery potential. It's the reason Goldfields invested. It's the reason Rick Rule invested in the company, not just once, but multiple times. We have clear tier 1 targets that are driving a very, very large mineral system. We've done all the work. There's 154 targets on the project, and we've only tested 18% of those targets to date. We have an existing high-grade mineral resource in copper, gold, and silver, starting at surface, open at depth, in an active mining district. It doesn't get any better than that from an infrastructure standpoint. We love Peru. Peru is a mining country. We believe it always will be. And in particular, the Ancash province is one of the best places to be in Peru. If you're an investor in our company, you're exposed to the copper boom that's going to happen. There's going to be a super cycle in the battery metals, and we plan to be right in the middle of it, but you're also getting exposure to very significant precious metals, okay? And byproducts are an important part of the copper industry, and there's no better byproduct, in my opinion, than to have gold and silver associated with your copper mineralization. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm happy to take some questions now. I appreciate your time. I'll look at the Q&A part to get this started. The first question is, how many drill rigs are we intending to use in the forthcoming exploration program? We're going to go with 1 drill rig. We've had 2 drill rigs operating in the past. Our mineralization drills very, very well in terms of production. And in fact, the drilling contractor we're working with has done an exceptional job. We get very impressive rates, daily drill rates on this project. We always have, and we get about 1,500 meters of production a month. We're planning a 3,000 meter drill program, so that's going to be about 2 months of drilling. We plan to start March 25th. Weather permitting. We're in the roughest part of the rainy season in the Peruvian Andes right now, so we're going to let that quieten down and slow down a bit. We'll get started in March. So we'll run about 2 months of drilling. We'll be logging and splitting core and getting samples to the lab during that period of time. We've always done a good job of getting results out to the market. The second question is impressive group of shareholders. What attracted them to invest in Chakana? I think I think the grades that we were drilling initially, and I pointed out some of those grades. I mean, you don't see those grades very often, okay? And we know that we're in a big mineral system. We started off with a small land position, and we quadrupled that land position to cover the entire mineral system. So often juniors will just have a postage stamp land position. They won't go after the entire mineral system. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, and you gotta do it, because that's what gives your shareholders the ability to have a program like we're about to have, right? We're going after everything. We're not just going to stick to one deposit style just because we think that's where all the potential is. We have the entire mineral system here captured, and we're going to go after it. I think the team is important. I think the track record that John and Doug have, especially in the public market, I think is huge. So I'm proud to work with those guys, and I think they bring a lot to our team. What percentage of the targets do you anticipate need to be drilled before engaging in a mine feasibility study? That's a really good question. In fact, I didn't mention that we're already doing a scoping study on the existing resource, and it's not because we think that that's ready to go as a mining operation, but you want to do those types of studies to understand what you have in hand already. And I can tell you that my main objective of doing the internal scoping study was to support the idea of doing a PEA. So we could do a more rigorous study. It would be something that the public would know about. The results that we're seeing on the internal scoping study are very robust, and it gives me confidence that with additional exploration, by adding additional tons, and this is on the breccia part of the story, okay? This is just the breccia part. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else. We think that the breccia part of the story is going to solidify a very, very attractive resource for this asset for the company. So we're going to continue working on that. We've done a lot of geometallurgical work. We have a lot more work to do, but everything we've done so far is very encouraging on the idea of moving this forward with additional studies. How long do you expect the current cash balance to last you, and when you might need to raise more funds? That really depends on the drilling program, right? We've got a 3,000 meter drill program. We're fully funded for that. Now, if we get into a discovery and we have to do a drill out, especially on a porphyry, lots of meters, right? So we absolutely will need to raise some money to support that. Very difficult markets. We just raised $3 million. It was brutal. It was difficult. But when you have people like Goldfields and Rick Rule in your corner, it helps a lot, right? Because they're not throwing money around. Rick obviously sees a huge opportunity here. We are absolutely undervalued, and the upside potential is stellar. It's the reason that Goldfields is there. So I think we tick a lot of boxes when you look at a company like ours from an investment standpoint. And those the other investors we have obviously seen that. The other question is there good basic infrastructure near the site? And absolutely. I mean, there's an operating mine 500 meters east of our property boundary. They have a concentrate, sulfide concentrate plant that's operating. They're on grid power. There's plentiful water in this area, and there's public road access. There's already concentrates being driven out of the district and to the coast. The same concentrate route that Antamina uses to transport their concentrate to the port at Warmay. So yeah, we're right in the middle of the infrastructure here. It's one of the reasons I like being in the Ancash province in particular. It's because the infrastructure was built on the heels of the PERU and Antamina discoveries and mine build-outs, and we're certainly benefiting from that infrastructure. So I believe that's all the questions. I really appreciate everyone's time and the questions today. And I am available at dkelley, DKELLEY at chakanacopper.com to answer any more questions. And I welcome you to look at and reach out to me with those questions. I think it's a great time to invest prior to our drilling program that'll start in March. Discoveries happen with drilling. You can do all the armchair geology that you want, but it's when you start turning the drill rig that things start